bullshit. Bullshit, yes. Bullshit. Bullshit. But, sir, those are some of the best games ever made. Well, you see, video games are art, but the people who play them are fucking stupid. You see, the only way to make a truly perfect video game is to make one without players. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I made a game with no players. How does that even work? Really good question, actually. I thought long and hard about this, and I decided to recreate the OG zero-player game. Watching sports. Whoa, wait. Look, hey, I know you don't give a shit about sports, and neither did I until I found this cool online game called Blaseball. It's this web game that runs simulated baseball games based on the stats of fictional players. Games run most days, every hour, on the hour, and last about 30 minutes, so it's a really nice thing to have in the background while you're doing something like actually important. Just like regular baseball, we've got teams, we've got championships, and we've got surreal horror. Yeah, just like normal baseball. Yeah, so the catch is, Blaseball is like D&D and baseball had like a really fucked up kit. The basic rules of baseball are mostly the same, but the thing that separates it from the real deal is that all this fucked up shit can happen. Players can be incinerated at any time by umpires, they can swallow peanuts from the peanut rain and get stat boosts. Or they can hit a grand slam so powerful it crashes the server and makes everyone on that team the same person. So yeah, you know, pretty normal baseball stuff, yeah. That stuff's alright, but actually it's the community that's formed around baseball that really makes it special. Watching a game by itself is pretty boring, but when you're watching a game with your team Discord open and everyone's spamming your stupid team chant or shitting on your worst pitcher, it just makes it immensely more enjoyable. There's also this whole wiki full of fan art and player-made lore, not to mention the amazing coordinated efforts by teams just to totally break the system. Like this team voted to put all their pitchers in giant peanut shells so they couldn't pitch anymore, just to see what would happen. They actually got a 6 pitcher called Pitching Machine, which they then promptly voted to put back in a shell. It's this sort of stuff that turns the game into this beautiful, forever evolving dance between players and game designers, and it's really cool. But we're not here to talk about some cool stuff that someone else made. We're here to talk about me. So here's the problem with this whole Blaseball thing. It sucks to watch. Like, yeah, okay, it's not bad watching with your team chat and whatever, but I mean the actual experience of, you know, finding out what happens in the game really sucks. Like, here's what happens when someone hits a home run in real baseball, and here's what happens when someone hits a home run in Blaseball. So the solution to this was obviously Wii Sports. Like, Blaseball was kind of made to attract people who wouldn't normally be into sports, and so was Wii Sports. So I figure, why not just steal the data from Blaseball and get the assets from Wii Sports and just fucking put them together? You might be thinking, hey wait, isn't that illegal? And well, you'd be absolutely right.
Alright, here's the plan. First, I've got to reverse engineer the Blaseball API. Second, I've got to steal the Wii Sports assets. Third, I've got to make the rest of the fucking game.
First things first, to get into the API data, I needed to do some hacking. So I popped open the network tab and found out that the server was spitting out these game updates every few seconds with the game state data. That was easy, fuck. So I got the data loading into Unity okay, but every time the server talks to the game, it freezes for a bit. I thought maybe the server was looking kind of nice and maybe just my game was a bit nervous to talk to it. But actually it turned out that the JSON files it was sending were just such chonky boys that it took a while to read them into a format it could understand. So I chucked that code onto another thread using this nice coroutine helper class by old mate Jack Dunstan and let it go brrr.
Next step was to steal some Wii Sports assets. Luckily, I already knew how to do this from when I was messing around with making a Wii Sports VR port.
So you know how in Blender you just click save and it saves into the file format you want? Well, it's kind of like that. You just have to first illegally download the ROM, extract the files in Dolphin, chuck the calc files into Brawlbox, then from there you export the BRES files into BRES viewer, then you export PSA and PSK files into Noesis, and then finally you can click fucking export. So yeah, you know, really straightforward and easy. Fuck. Only problem was the Miis didn't come with heads, so I just put a cube there as a placeholder, but I ended up really liking it, so I just kind of slapped an eye on it and called it a day. I also got bullied on stream into making an Easter egg where their heads turn into burgers 1 in 420 times. Yeah, I don't really know either. Bullying's bad, okay? Don't bully. So now I had the data and the assets. All I needed to do was fucking put them together. And I thought, oh, you know, this should be a pretty quick job. In and out, 1 week tops.
4 to 6 weeks later.
You know how fucking complicated baseball is? Maybe you think, oh, you know, one guy throws the ball, the other guy hits the ball. Pretty straightforward. No, it's not. The thing is, with the game you don't play, you design it a lot differently to a game you actually do play. For example, when you're playing as a batter in like a regular baseball game, you know, maybe you just yeet the ball based on the player's reaction time or something like that, and some fielders go and get it and bring it back, and that determines how many runs you get, right? Whereas with Blaseball, you know what happens instantly, before the pitcher even throws. And your timing has to be exact, otherwise your play won't make any sense. Problem is, the server data has no information on where the ball lands, or anything like that, so I just kind of have to make it up. So my approach was to write some code to make the batter hit the ball to a point that I specify, and then I can change that point based on what play happens. Found some great code by our boy Sebastian League that will calculate the velocity vector needed to get a ball to a point given an archetype, which was really great because I know fuck all about physics. So now if the batter hits a single, it lands here, and if the batter hits a home run, it lands here. Pretty simple stuff, right? Wrong, you fucking idiot. All because of these assholes. Fielders make this whole thing way more complicated because the amount of runs scored is based on how fast these little shits can get back to the base and throw it back. Because unlike a real game, you can't just yeet the ball and then say to the fielders, hey boy, come on, go get it boy, go get the ball boy. Because instead they have to return it in a fixed amount of time. So the big brain solution to all this is you can have the computer place a point randomly and then run a simulation of the fielders and see what kind of play would happen if the ball landed there. You could then run that a whole heap of times, a heap of different points, classify them all, and then pick a random one to play based on what event we get in from the server. Except I totally ran out of time, so I just kind of placed the points myself. Yeah, it's super scuffed. Speaking of scuffed, let me tell you about this fielder AI. Balls hit into the air are pretty straightforward. Since we know the exact trajectory of the ball, we can find where it intersects the player's gloves and then tell them to run to that point on the ground. But the balls hit along the ground something else. You're probably thinking, no, why don't you just make the fucking fielders run towards the ball, you idiot? Sounds good, doesn't work. To catch the ball, you've got to run to where the ball is going, not to where it was. So you could run after the ball's position plus its velocity projected onto the floor, which is a bit better, but you still end up missing a lot of balls and doing shit like this. So instead, I ended up telling the AI to run to the intersection of the ball's velocity vector plus the cross product of that vector added to the AI's position, and then switching behavior based on if the ball is slowing down so the AI can run forward and pick it up. So yeah, you know, pretty simple stuff. Got it working first time. Easy peasy. Hey, what are you doing? No, don't do it. No, hey, no. The rest of the game, really easy too. You know, no game breaking bugs, no camera issues, all the events are implemented properly. Easy peasy. I'd love to spend some more time on this, but it was only supposed to be like a quick little thing, and I should probably actually get back to my real game. If there's interest though, I might come back and finish it later. Anyway, if you're keen, the link is down below on my Discord server. I'm trying to keep it a bit low key because, you know, it's only really a matter of time before...